This video is about classifying conic sections. Part 1. Determine what type of conic section is formed by the intersection of a plane and a double-napped point. Number 1, that's a parabola. For number 2, this will be hyperbola. For number 3, that will be circle. Number 4 is a ellipse. Part 2, fill in the blank. This is talk about the locus of points for each conic section. A circle is a locus of points in a plane whose distance from a specified point is the same. The fixed point is called the center. An ellipse is the locus of points, the sum of whose distance from two fixed points is constant. The two fixed points I call foci. A hyperbola is the locus of a point, the difference of whose distance from two fixed points is a constant. The two fixed points I call the foci. A parabola is the locus of points in a plane such that each point has the same distance from a line called the directrix, a fixed point called the focus. Now let's talk about the standard form for each conic section. For circle, this will be the standard form. We learned this in geometry class. For ellipse, we have horizontal and a vertical ellipse. How you decide this is a horizontal? Check the number below x squared and y squared. Which one is bigger? We call that the major axis. Therefore, suppose A greater than B. Below x squared, you have a squared. We call this is a horizontal ellipse. The graph will be like this. For vertical ellipse, means the A will be below y squared. Therefore, for vertical ellipse, the graph will be like this one. For hyperbola, this is a horizontal hyperbola because it's x squared, you minus y squared. While for this equation for hyperbola is a vertical hyperbola because you have y squared minus x squared. As we know, 4 minus 1 equals 3. Name for 4 is minuend. The name for 1 we call subtrahend. Name for this 3 we call difference. Therefore, for hyperbola equation, A is in minuend position. For horizontal hyperbola, graph will be like this. For vertical parabola, graph like this. For parabola, when you have x equals, we call that horizontal parabola. Graph will be like this or this one. For vertical parabola, we know this is a quadratic function. The graph look like this or this. Let's talk about a term called eccentricity. Eccentricity shows how a conic section varies from being circular. We define electricity for a circle equals 0. Then for ellipse, it will be less than 1. For parabola, e equal to 1. For hyperbola, e greater than 1. This is a formula for eccentricity. This diagram shows more about eccentricity. We know for a circle, e equals to 0. As e increasing, you could see how the graph changed. Then when go to parabola, e equals to 1. Go to hyperbola, e will be equals to. That means this e greater than 1. For ellipse, this e less than 1. Here is the procedure to decide the type of a conic section. When you are given general form, you check both x squared and y squared present. No, that means a parabola. Yes, then you check the same sign on x squared and y squared. No, that means a hyperbola. If they do have the same sign on x squared, y squared, then you check, is it exactly same? If exactly same, that's a circle. If you say no, that's a ellipse. Now let's go to practice. Classify each conic section and write its equations in standard form. For number 3, we use this procedure to decide the type of a conic section. Since we do have both x squared, y squared in this equation, and we don't have the same sign. That's why it's a hyperbola. For number 4, it will be parabola because we don't have both x squared and y squared in this equation. That's why we put the P. For hyperbola, this is the standard form. First step, we put all x together, all y together. Since negative 9x squared is negative, so we move after y squared. We got the 25y squared plus 100y. That minus 9x squared. Move constant number the other side. We got this. Then we will form completing square. For completing square, here's the formula. You have x squared plus bx plus b over 2 squared. Then equals something squared. From here, I got this x. From here, I got the b over 2. Therefore, I will take a 25 outside. I got the y squared plus 100 divided by 25 is 4y. I need to add b over 2 squared. This b, that is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then minus 9x squared equals 125. Since I add b over 2 squared on the left side of this equation, I need to add b over 2 squared on the right side. But we do have a factor before this 2 squared. Therefore, don't forget, here you have to do the 25 times 2 squared. So we got the 25. This is a completing square. You get, this is the y. From here you get the plus 2 minus 9x squared. Work this out. You will get 225. We know for standard form for hyperbola is equals to 1. Therefore, you divide by 225 for each term. Then reduce. You will get y plus 2 squared over 9 minus x squared over 25 equals to 1. This will be the standard form for this hyperbola. Let's go to number 4. We know this is a parabola. For parabola, either you get the x equals or y equals that pattern. We have x equals here. Therefore, move everything to the right side. This is your equal sign. So we get the x equals negative y squared negative 10y minus 26. Then I will create that x squared plus bx format so that I can add b over 2 squared. I can form x plus b over 2 squared here. Therefore, I will get the x equals. Take a negative sign outside, that's negative 1. I got the y squared plus 10y. Because negative 10 divided by negative 1 is a positive 10. Then you add b over 2 squared. That is 10 divided by 2 is 5 squared. Since on the same side, you add b over 2 squared, you have to subtract 5 squared. We do have a factor before 5 squared, so you have to multiply by this factor, then minus 26. You will get negative 1 y plus 5 squared. Work this out. You will get negative 1. Therefore, x equals negative 1 times y plus 5 squared minus 1 will be the standard form for parabola. First of all, we classify each conic section. Look at this procedure. We do have both x squared, y squared, but it's a different sign. That's why it's a hyperbola. For number 8, we have x squared, y squared, but it's the same sign. It's a different number. That's why it's an ellipse. For number 7, we know this is a hyperbola. The standard form for hyperbola will be like this. Therefore, I will move all x together, y together, constant number the other side. You will get the x squared minus 2x minus 4y squared minus 24y equals 51. Then I need to do completing square. Format is x squared plus bx plus b over 2 squared equals x plus b over 2 squared. This is your x, this is b over 2. Therefore, I got the x squared minus 2x. You need to add b over 2 squared. This is a b, so you get negative 1 squared. Then I minus, for y squared, you have to take negative 4 outside. You got the y squared. Negative 24 divided by negative 4, that's 6y. Then you add b over 2 squared. b, that is 6. Therefore, it's 3 squared. Then equals 51. Since you add negative 1 squared on the left side, you have to add on the right side. You add 3 square on the left side, you have to add on the right side. But you do have a -4 is a factor before this 3 square. So don't forget you add -4 times 3 square. Work this out, 51 plus 1, then plus 3 squared is 9 times -4, it will be -36. Now we will form completing square from these 3. That will be x minus 1 square. Then minus 4, we're working on this. That's y plus 3 square equals 16. Then we divide it by 16 for every term so that I can get equals to 1 on the right side. Reduce, this is a 4. So we got x minus 1 square over 16 minus y plus 3 square over 4 equal to 1. That's the standard form for number 7. Let's go to number 8. This is an ellipse. The standard form for ellipse is this one. Still we need equal to 1. So first of all, we put all x together, all y together. We got 9x squared minus 54x plus 4y squared minus 8y. Move constant to the other side equals 59. Then we take 9 outside for x squared. For y squared, we take a 4 outside. So we got the 9x squared minus 54 divided by 9, that's 6x. Then you plus b over 2 squared. b, that's -6 divided by 2, that will be -3. Then plus 4 y squared. -8 divided by 4, that's -2y. Then you need to add b over 2 squared. b, that's -2 divided by 2 is -1. Then equals 59 plus. You add -3 squared. On the left side, you have to add to the right side. Factor is 9, so 9 times. Also, you have to add -1 squared. We do have factor before that. That is 4 times. So we got 9x minus 3 squared plus 4y minus 1 squared equals. You will get 144 when you work all this part together. Then next step, you need to divide by 144 for every term. Then reduce. 1, 16, 1, 36, 1. So I can write down the final standard form for this ellipse is x minus 3 squared over 16 plus y minus 1 squared over 36 equal to 1.